Nani that we sing that in the presence of these makamai o na ali'i, yeah? A e olu e ho'omalu kākou, e ko mākou mākui I loko kalani, ka makua mana, ka makua ihi, ka makua aloha. Our great and powerful Heavenly Father, filled with aloha, we mahalo your presence. Nui ko mākou mahalo ia oe ke akua no ka mea nau no I ho a ko me nei no mākou I mua o ma ke ia wahi o ka iwa kilo moku. We thank you for your kindness and compassion in bringing us together on this special day at this place, ka iwa kilo moku here at Kamehameha Schools for Velo Ha'aheo, an exhibition of Hawaiian royal flags these mea makamai of our ali'i. We call upon your presence, and we thank you for your protection in bringing these flags here safely to this place. And we humbly ask that you also protect them and take them safely back at the conclusion of our time today. We are thankful to be standing, admiring these special makamai, these precious gifts of our ali'i that have been stored for so many, many years. And we thank the partnership of the Hawaii State Archives, Adam Jansen and all the helpers this morning, as well as Kamehameha Schools and others who have brought this together so that we can see with our own eyes the personal standards, sort of the European somewhat equivalent of our kahili for our Mo'ikane Kalakaua and his sister Kamo'i Wahine Lili'u Kalani, Hanai sister of Keli Pawahi. Although made of simple cloth, these symbols of ali'i are imbued with the mana of our ali'i, as well as the major historical events that they witnessed in our past. And this mana is with us today. It energizes our strong sense of Hawaiian pride and patriotism. Aloha aina, love for one's homeland and people, is our enduring and steadfast trait in Hawaiian culture. And these steady reminders, these high, of who and whom we come from. Ke Akua, help us to forever hold these high, these flags in our minds and in our na'au. Velo ha'aheo, fluttering proudly. Velo ha'aheo, symbols of a proud and patriotic people. We thank you for the many hands, those working today who we will see tending to what needs to be mended and what needs to be restored. Parallels in some ways to our Lahui Hawaii, for which we give you thanks. Ke Akua, all these things we lift up to you. We ask forgiveness for our shortcomings, and again, always acknowledge you as the Supreme Being. Be with us, all of us today. Makaino kaukeiki hiva hiva Yesu Christo. Amen.
E nā kini o ka aina, nā mamoa haloa, aloha aina kākou a pauloa. Aloha. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Kamehameha Schools and our Chief Executive Officer, Jack Wong, it's my great privilege to welcome you all this morning to the Ka'iwa Kilo Moku Hawaiian Cultural Center for today's extraordinary presentation, Velo Ha'aheo, an exhibition of Hawaiian royal flags. I'm Randy Kamuela Fong, Executive Cultural Officer and Managing Director of Ho'okahua Cultural Vibrancy Group. Today's event is part of a series called Lahui Rising. Kamehameha Schools is committed to safe spaces where people of all ages can gather to learn about issues important to Hawaiians and express themselves freely in a nurturing environment. Today's presentation is a collaboration organized by Jamie Fong, Ka'iwa Kilo Moku Manager, and Adam Jansen, Director of the Hawaii State Archives. We are deeply honored that Adam and his staff allowed these precious treasures to be removed from the vault and transported here to Kamehameha Schools to be on public display for a day in recognition of Archives Month. We also acknowledge the kindness of Dr. Ron Williams, President of the Hawaiian Historical Society, and Dr. Doug Askman, Associate Professor of History at Hawaii Pacific University, for the knowledge they will share in their presentations today. This rare exhibition is both emotional and sobering. We recall the dynamic days of the kingdom when these standards were waving proudly above Iolani Palace in full glory. And we grieve the shameful day they were lowered, yielding to an unholy agenda of greed. Those dark moments will be relived in a hula you will see shortly that describe tears streaming down the face of the Hawaiian nation. Today, well over a century after the illegal overthrow of the Hawaiian kingdom, we draw strength and inspiration from these brilliant banners of Hawaiian identity and Kanaka sovereignty. They empower us to envision a future when such emblems of political governance and Lahui pride may once again rise high and wave with grace and dignity for all the world to see. At this time, please help me welcome Hawaii State Archives Director, Adam Jansen, to share a few words. Adam?
Thank you. Aloha mai kaiko. I am humbled to be speaking to such an august group and before the Royal Societies and before such amazing majesty and history that we have before us today. I have the honor of being the State Archivist of Hawaii and leading an amazing team of dedicated staff that is really striving to ensure that the history that we see before us continues to endure for generations to come. Now, October is American Archives Month, an initiative that was started in 2006 by the Society of American Archivists and supported by the Council of State Archives. It is meant to be a time to focus on the importance of records of enduring value in a society that is increasingly demanding accountability and transparency in government. Archives protect your rights, your property, your identity, and your history. This group of professionals that you will see working around here are the guardians of these records and the voices of the past that are contained within those records. They are dedicated to providing for the physical and moral defense of those records against all disasters, natural and man-made, to serve all researchers equally, whether they're red or blue, right, left, or center. Our only duty is to protect the records. Our only duty is to the voices of the past to the benefit of the future. They believe so passionately in this mission that they have given up their Saturday to preserve this history. We had over 30 volunteers offer to give up that Saturday. Professional archivists that don't work for me, that gave up their Saturday. For Archives Month this year, we have chosen to focus on the largest items in our collection and easily amongst the most important historical cultural items at the Hawaii State Archives. As these Hawaiian Kingdom Royal Standards are not on public display for many, many decades, they have well overdue for inspection and conservation. Now, we could have done this in the research room at the State Archives, but these pieces are much larger than that, both physically and, more importantly, metaphorically. For what the State Archives holds, it holds in the public trust for the good of all, for researchers today and, more importantly, for the generations to come. So we wanted to share the conservation efforts that we are going to be doing here today with the public so that they could share in the majesty and the history and partake in that cultural heritage. We have to say a big, big mahalo to Kamehameha Schools for this. Like wayward children, we approached Kamehameha Schools with a ridiculous set of conditions. We needed a large space we couldn't pay for. We couldn't sign an indemnity clause, and the event was 2 months away. In less than a week, they not only said yes, they completely adopted us, and they made us feel as part of the family. For this, I am deeply indebted to Jamie Fong and the Kamehameha Schools for being most gracious hosts and co-sponsoring this event. And so because of their, thank you, please. We could not literally have done this without them. So because of their generosity, among the treasures we have to share with you today are 2 banners from King Kalakaua Jubilee, one for Queen Kapiolani's Hula Society and one for Princess Liliuokalani's Educational Society. We have not 1, not 2, but 3 royal standards of the Hawaiian Kingdom to share with you. And when I mentioned that we focused on the largest items out of the State Archives collection, I meant large. And that distinction belongs to the royal standard that King Kalakaua took with him on his 1881 progress around the world. And that piece weighs in at 20 feet by 30 feet. Easily dwarfing anything else that we have at the State Archives. And finally, from one of the darkest chapters in Hawaiian history, we have the personal royal standard of Queen Liliuokalani that was lowered from Iolani Palace in 1893. And yet, even this story has an amazing twist of fate. For the grandson of Captain Good, who oversaw the overthrow, the grandson donated the standard to West Point Museum when he became a cadet at West Point. And as he became an older man, he understood. And he approached West Point Museum and realized that the standard belonged to the people. And he negotiated with West Point Museum to have it returned to the people of Hawaii. And not only that, but as a gesture of goodwill, and some would say contrition, he had Captain Good's sword returned with the standard. So in closing, if you will please indulge me as I return to my archivist core, and those of you who know me, I am very passionate about archives. I would advocate on behalf of your local archives, please go and see what records they have to offer for you. Fake news is nothing new. As long as people have had an agenda and have been writing things down, they have been writing half-truths and fake news. Just because someone has told you it's true does not make it so. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. Question everything. Come to the archives. See for yourself the original writings that witnesses wrote onto the paper. Read the words that they laid onto that paper. Feel the meaning that they imbued into that, and only then will you learn the truth. Thank you.
Kau kahag ay kamanawala, hindi mo Kaulani o hoa kalei me he manu e kani hei kuai. Kualono mahale ua moho e ki e la i una. Iu ka apa i au me o e lakai ka nā hele hele i hoa ana no via i kuai. Kualono e o ima